Hello, ITers. My name is Amir, and welcome to my lecture. In today's lecture, I will going to speak about human-computer interaction, which is also called HCI. Before I start, I would just like to give you a brief introduction of myself. So I'm basically a research student, just doing a PhD from University of Bedfordshire, and my project, which is based on content-based medical image retrieval, and it's been supervised by my Dr. Hemming Liu. And I've been involved in a couple of projects which are based on HCI during my master's and bachelor's. So all I can tell you is a very, very primary and very, very important to know and understand the concepts behind it. And it's actually base for all kind of research or any area of IT you work on is a basics of all of them. So it's very essential to know in-depth understanding of how it works and what is the future, and corresponds to HCI. Anyway, in this lecture I will try to be explain you about HCI in a very simplified version. So I know a lot of you could be new in this, and would try to make you understand as much as possible in a more simpler way by giving you some examples. So let's start with today's lecture. So what we need to understand is HCI, actually the name represents, it involves humans, which are users of course, and computers, machines, and of course interaction. So in simple definition, HCI is actually an interactions of humans with the computers. So if we put computers and humans or user interact with the computer, and computer gives out a respond and output towards the user's query. So this whole process of giving input to the system, processing of the query, and giving an output is to the user is whole part of an HCI. That's a whole kind of a backbone where this whole thing is based. So if we look at the more in depth about HCI, the history goes back when it's not just involved computers, it's also involved more areas, for example psychology, social sciences, and others as well. I mean, it's not just based on computer sciences. However, it's interdisciplinary, which have multiple fields in that involved to make at one HCI, from users design to system design to their interaction, which is whole comes as a part of a bunch of components involved to make an HCI. So as I said, it's a mixture, is interdisciplinary field where it involves computer sciences, computer sciences, which is a part of the machine, computers, cognitive psychology, which we can say is a part of humans, which is the users, and the final design is of course a part of interactions, where we design interfacing, which could be in the form of commands, could be form of voice, could be form of videos, could be form of gesture, things like this. That's come a part of design and interfacing. So this whole three components make up one full HCI model. So as I mentioned, the three basic components: humans, computer, and the interaction. That's come to mix them all to make them interactive with each other, vice versa, human to computers and computer to humans, and the whole kind of HCI backbone is based on them. So let's talk about one by one. So for example, computers. So computer is basically based on input devices and output devices. So for example, when the user interact with the computers, of course they need an interface to interact with the system. For example, if I'm a user and if I need any information, if I'm seeking any information or anything from the computer, what I will do, I will approach my laptop and I will use the keyboards to search on maybe in some web browser, or just type whatever information I'm looking for, and the computer that has so the way the medium I will give information to the computer, that's called input devices. It could be a mouse, it could be keyboard, or it could be if you're using any smart devices or Alexa or Google Home, it might be your voice. So these are the input devices, and the output devices, of course, which gives you an output in the form of voice. It could be in the form of screen, which is a monitor, is an input output device. And of course, we need memory as well in this component, where it saves the user's information for processing. And of course, processing is an essential part of the computer systems, because that's involved in the whole process of processing of all the inquiries and give a result in the form of output via output devices. So processing is an essential component in the computer systems of HCI. So if we look at the interaction, that's actually the way humans and computers, a user or system, interact with each other. As I said, we interact with the system means of various forms. Could be gesture, could be voice, could be video, could be commands. So all these systems is a way of communication, and the data which we enter into the computer in any form is just interaction, like the way we give our knowledge or our inquiry to the computer is an interaction. And of course, from the system to user side, and the users gives an output in the form of in the screen, or in the form of a voice output. That's sort of things which we as in the executors, or that comes a part of the system output towards the users. And to make the system, here comes a very important point: how we can make a computer or a system so interactive with humans that can enhance the user experience. The concept of user experience comes from the interaction. So this is a very emerging area of research, and researchers are working very well and very hard to get up to the level where we can make the user experience. It's all about users actually. In HCI, a user, how we can enhance their experience, how users can interact more, can more interactive behavior with the computer, and how we can get most out of this machine. So this is a great to work on, and interaction is a base where the whole thing HCI comes on. So if you look at execution evaluation, it's just generally what I just explained. So user, for example, when they interact with a system or computer, they have a goal, what the information they're looking for, and then the system, then what it does in the processor, they process or execute the inquiry or the input data, and afterward the system evaluate and gives the feedback back to the users. So that's the whole process of execution and evaluation, and becomes loop. So when we say loop, that comes a point which I just explained to you, the interaction. So if we evaluate, if the user inputs something and computer processes a given output, and user look at the output and gives an input based on that output from the machine, and that's the cycle continues of execution and evaluation. So this process is very important to understand, to make the system, how we can make the system more interactive. So it's totally up to the area of research work you're doing at HCI. For example, the most up-to-date one, which is the artificial intelligence, the augmented reality, AR, and mixed reality, that are totally based on the scenario of the interaction with the machines and users, that how things can be more interactive. Even the e-learning, they're evolving a lot in this area of HCI, so is worth to note it down. So some interaction styles could be a variety of ways to interact with the system and system to the users. It could be point and click, question answers, gestures, voice, speech, like there are plenty of ways to interact. But the main key point is we need to make the system, the goal of an IT engineer should be how they can make the system very, very interactive towards the users for best possible outcome. And in today's lecture, I'll just be limited to HCI. While in the next one, I will go more in depth about the user design, how how important is that, and how we can make the system more interactive for the users. And yes, I will going to explain them in my next lesson. So stay tuned, guys, and that's all. Hope you had a good basic understanding of HCI, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you.